Friday. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to our live training of eIMMIGRATION. My name is Vanessa Vargas. On behalf of Cerenade, I want to thank you for joining this webinar. You should be able to hear me and see my screen. Let me double check. You can message me and confirm. Please let me know if you can hear me fine. Can you please message me because I was having issues with my headset? All right. Oh, wait. There's a chat, and you can also send your questions throughout. Perfect. Someone's raising their hand. Awesome. Okay. So today's topic, let me share my PowerPoint. We're going to do a basic training for new users. But if you are not a new user, thank you so much for letting me know. If you're not a new user, you can ask any questions. Just like you message me right now, you can message me throughout the training and ask questions. And again, I want to thank you for joining today's webinar. We are recording it. Even though this is live, you're going to be able to keep the video or watch the video on our YouTube channel. We ask that you please subscribe, and that way you can get the notifications when you activate the little bell. That way, when we have a new video, you get the notification. Also, as a reminder, we have been advised by GoToWebinar, if you have a Mac, you can switch to Chrome. If you are using Safari, it's even better to download the app just so that you can watch the whole presentation and you can interact with GoToWebinar. And today's presentation, the PowerPoint is available. If you are new, click on handouts and you can always download the PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to be using today because it has useful links. All right, so let's get started. We're going to show you the basic 3 steps: how to create a contact, how to link the members, and how to create cases so that you can work with forms. We're also going to cover alternate view and questionnaires and how to customize them. I'm not going to go into detail on how to create a questionnaire, but I want you to know that you can use the questionnaires that we have in the system by default, or you can also create your own, and we have translations available. Of course, I'm going to go over how to auto-populate forms. I'm also going to show you how to customize your client overview feature. Each of the paralegals or attorneys, caseworkers have user preferences available, so we're going to go over that. I'm going to show you the case process steps and how this helps to be organized and everyone in the same page, even if you're a solo practitioner or especially if you're in a large organization, how to utilize the process steps so that you maintain this um, clear organization and you can work more efficiently. I'm going to explain to you what activities are and how you can save time by using that feature, the logs or comments or any notes that you want to create, and of course, reminders. Lastly, we're going to cover the smart alerts, tickler, which is a general dashboard, and lastly, the document assembly, how to put together the package with all the evidence, forms, letter templates. So we're going to go over that. As always, we show you the resources and support that we provide in Cerenade for when you have questions and need help. I'm going to cover some of the questions that you guys sent prior, and we have a section called Did You Know? I put links so that you can click on those later. Like I said, don't forget to download this PowerPoint presentation. And I'm going to show you the upcoming training classes. All right, so let's get started. Oops, let me switch to this screen. This is your caseworker portal. You should have received a URL, a username and password to log in here. I recommend that you bookmark it to your browser and or keep it in whatever it's safe, because your URL is different. You cannot just Google and find immigration. Yours is unique. And so when you are working from home, or if you want to access your cell phone or tablet, any device, immigration is compatible with any browser. And so as long as you know the URL, the username and password, you can access anywhere and anytime. This system message allows you to be on the know, in the know. Here's a list of trainings that we provide on Fridays and a couple of links, or if we have a new feature, you can be aware. Let me dismiss it. All right, the reason why you guys are seeing my tickler is because I chose to have that if I go to my settings and I go to user preferences, there is an option that says default start page. So every time that I log in, I like to see my tickler, which is the, like I said, the general dashboard. But most of you, when you log in, you see this page. And this is the home screen. Most of the users see this. And this is where you can see the recently updated cases or clients, and of course, a couple of useful graphs. So the first step that I'm going to show you today is how do I create a contact? If you notice on the top left, there's a plus sign to create. You're going to click there, create a client or contact. I recommend that that you use this setting for the default status to be prospect, because most of these start being a prospect. Someone contacts you and later you can run a report to separate prospects or leads versus actual active clients. So that's what the status is. And you're going to enter the information for the individual or the business client, enter the information and create the contact. Once you do that, when you enter that information and you create the contact, it's going to take you, let me enter a couple of details. Let's say, all right, it's going to take you to a window like this. And this is where you enter information as much as you can, save the changes. So let me just enter and save. You're going to get a green notification that tells you it's been saved, and then you can safely move to a different area. And I tell you this because a lot of people forget to click save changes. If they move to, let's say, biographic info, you're going to lose that information. Okay, so just beware. Now, we also have a way for you to capture the information on the right hand side, which I'm going to cover the alternate view. But the first step and the most organic way is I create a contact and I enter the details that I have here. Now, if you have fields or if you see fields that you don't want, let's say I don't care for evening phone or pronouns or alien, well, alien number you will, but like prefer name. If you go to the admin, you can hide these fields. Admin is kind of like the back office. Not everyone has access to this. So if you're not the administrator, you can contact them. Basically, if you are, you're going to see it. If you see settings, it's going to say administrative tools. Let me quickly show you what I'm talking about. This is the administrative portal. And if I go to the admin and at the bottom, I click application settings, there are a lot of settings that you can enable or disable or modify to make eIMMIGRATION your system. Each office works differently. Some attorneys are solos, some attorneys don't handle employment-based cases. So you can make the system your own by customizing it, and that's done via the administrator portal. So what I'm talking about is, again, in the admin, I went to settings all the way at the bottom under client settings. You're going to see general info layout. So click there, and here are all those fields that I was talking about. So I can remove, let's say I don't need a fax or degree. You can change all of these, or not change, sorry, disable them. And if you disable, the entire section won't show up. So again, it's up to you. Once you select which ones you want to keep, click apply, and you're going to be able to customize um, the general info page. Let me go back. Let me know if you guys have any questions at any point. So now what I'm going to do is access an existing contact. If you notice, instead of clicking on the plus sign, I can either click here to go to clients and contacts, or I can also search from here. I can also just click find, and it gives me the most recently modified or updated profiles. And one thing I like about this section is that I can load more data, which is right here, select, load more data. So this is the shortcut. I can access quick links a lot faster if I want to go straight to my client's appointments or her documents or any invoices, so I can just click on the link. Of course, if you click on the hyperlink for the name, last name, middle name, it's going to take you to the profile. So this is an example of a contact profile, and you can click on the square to upload a picture and identify the client. And like I said, enter the information and then just save the changes. And this is what's going to auto-populate the forms. The more data that you guys add, the better for you, because then you don't have to keep typing it over and over again. The next step, once you have the contact profile ready, and I mean ready, I understand not every client will give you all the details at once. It's kind of like a process. So you can come back, add it, and then go back to the form, and I'll show you right now how to do it. But as long as you create the contact, enter the information, and save the changes, if you notice on the right-hand side, there are other sections to complete. So let's say that now, well, it's New Year, so let's add a couple of pounds. I'm gonna save the changes. Um, I don't think I'm the only one who gained weight after the holidays, right? So as you can see, we have other sections to complete, such as the client's address, US mailing, abroad. We have history of employment, history of previous addresses, education history. So again, try to kind of explore the profile, because eventually you're gonna know, okay, I need to add other names she has used, so you know exactly where to go. Or for example, we have a section for documents. Oh, I need to add her I-94. So now you know where to add the I-94. So try to get familiar with the contact profile, where all of these sections are located, because trust me, it's going to make a huge difference. And that's the reason why you're using eIMMIGRATION, so that you save time. And the idea is that you just want to capture the data one time only, and this is what's going to auto-populate all the forms. Now, step number 2, once you have the contact for the client ready, you also want to link the family members. The family members are here, members on the right-hand side. And so members could be, if you are dealing with a business client, let me open one. Okay, so I have a business client and I clicked on members. So these are not family members per se, but they are the employees or the signatories or other. And so we recommend that you link them, no matter if it's a business client or an individual client. You want to click here, link member, and find the person or create a contact and select a relationship. This is a daughter, spouse, parents, or a joint sponsor, because when you get to the forms, you're going to need their data as well. Even if you don't need the entire information on everything, at least date of birth, right? Nationality. And so what we recommend is that you link the members, and then let's say the son. If I click on his name, it's going to take me now to the son's profile. And if I need his address, if it's the same address as a mother, which is the case sometimes, and you're going to click on addresses, you don't have to retype it. You're going to see a copy slash move button where you can copy from her profile by selecting right here. So that way I don't have to retype the address for the son's profile. And if I complete a form, it is also going to auto-populate the beneficiary's address information. Okay, let me just save the changes. Please let me know if you have any questions at any point. So again, once you link the members, step 3 is to create the case. We're going to click on cases, and I'm going to create the case on the left hand side. Eventually it's going to be like an umbrella, right? Like you have the client and you have different processes that you have open, like uh, yeah, like different profiles for the case. You can see the type of process, the case number, and all the details. So I'm going to create a new one. Every time you guys create a case, you're going to use the case wizard, and this is where you choose the location or department, the type of process. Remember, all of these can be customized from the administrator portal. If you are a nonprofit organization, you can utilize the program drop-down menu to specify the grant. Or if you have not necessarily a nonprofit, but let's say that we have a corporation and we have different zones or different areas, so you can use that to customize this and specify the area for each attorney. I just finished a training and we talked about that, and I thought That helps a lot to separate cases within the same database, the same location, or the same company. And of course, a category. So all of these drop-down menus can be customized from the administrator portal. I'm going to click Next at the bottom. I see the attorney's information and it's checked, meaning it's going to transfer to the forms. I can always add another caseworker, and I think someone asked about this. So let's say Kevin, if this is the interpreter or paralegal, you can have different types of profiles, and then you decide whose information will transfer to the forms. If you need to delegate, so let's say that I'm going to need Ray for billing information, or I'm going to need Benita's help with, I don't know, administrative support. So you can link the case workers and then delegate. So who's going to be the team helping with this particular adjustment of status for Smith Lee? Okay, and then I'm going to click Next. Here's where we select the case parties when we designate a role. Note, this is not the same thing as we talked about, like members are one thing. I link the family members, or if it's an employment-based case, the signatories or employees, but it doesn't mean that this case has everyone listed. So I'm just going to choose the role and say my client, she's a petitioner, and maybe she's petitioning, let's say Jorge, the spouse. So he's going to be the alien. You could select if you want beneficiary. I just recommend alien because it's faster when you get to the forms. Okay, and then of course, let's say that we have one of the son, he's a derivative, so I can choose that too. The rest of the parties, I'm going to leave them blank, but they'll still transfer to the forms if necessary. Okay, I'm going to click Next. And then you see the forms checklist. So again, if you want to change this by default so that you don't have to keep changing it every single time, go to the admin portal and then add or remove elements from your process. It not, not just the forms, but documents, steps, billing items. You can customize this. And again, this is going to save you so much time. You have the forms ready, you can just click and go. I created the case and it should look like this, where I see the client, the process, the case number. Any questions at this point? All right, I might have a question for you. So let's see. I have a poll on the screen. So if you can please click. I want to see how many of you are actual new users. I'm waiting for the rest of the participants to vote while I catch my breath. All right, so that's enough. I got more than 60, 70%. All right, so yeah, 67% are new users, and the rest, they're taking this as a refresher. Awesome. Please do take advantage of the chat and send me questions if needed, okay? All right, so we're gonna continue. Now, were the basic 3 steps clear to you? How to create a contact, how to link the members, and how to create the case? Please let me know. All right, I'm waiting for the rest of the participants to vote. All right, we do have a couple of people voting no, please explain, but I'll wait until we're done, and don't leave, don't disconnect. After I cover the agenda, I'm gonna kind of recap the basic 3 steps, okay? All right, so let's continue. You should be able to see my screen again. Perfect. So at this point, we have the contact ready. And if I click on the name, let me close all these windows. See, if I click on her name where it says main party, I'm still at the case level, by the way. It's going to open her contact profile. So it's actually a lot easier to have within the same browser window different tabs where you can multitask and go back and forth. Let me show you. I can right click on home, open in a new tab, and then I have the home screen. Just like I was saying, for the administrator, you can open the admin and keep it available in the same browser window. It happens a lot especially in this industry where you have to multitask. And so I highly recommend that you open multiple tabs. Now, sorry, I see someone's hand. If you have any, if you have a question, please message me. I see you're raising your hand. So message me through the chat so I can help you. All right, thanks. Because I can't unmute you. It should say chat or questions. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. All right, I'll keep an eye. So, um, yeah, so if you click on the link, it's gonna open the tab where you can go, add data, save it, and come back to the form. Let me show you. Let's open the I-130. As a reminder, we have a team dedicated to update the forms. If you open a form that has been updated, you're gonna get a notification so you can um, either go back to the old version, and of course, it's gonna transfer the data to the new version. All right, so see, for example, here, the information is transferring directly because it says petitioner info goes here. And it's the same thing I was telling you to select alien instead of beneficiary, because on page 5 of the I-130, it says alien. And so again, by choosing alien, it transfers his data automatically. There are situations where you might need to override or change this particular form, and that's fine. You can just type freely and it's not going to affect the database. It's only going to stay on this form. If this is a mistake and you need to override or cancel or restore, if you notice there's a yellow bar, just click on the link that you want to kind of fix or undo or restore actually, and click on the link. And it's going to bring back the information that's in the database in the contact profile. Now, let's say that I need to change her date of birth. So I'm going to switch to the other tab, change it, save the changes, of course, and then come back. How do you refresh the data now that you're back on the form? Well, if you notice on page 1, for this section, the petitioners section, there's a red select party button. I'm going to click there, and I'm going to replace, not necessarily with another person, but just by clicking on her name again, I'm replacing the old data with the new one. So in other words, I'm refreshing the form instead of refreshing the browser, because if you do that, it closes the form and you just reopen it. But if you notice now the date of birth is updated. So instead of me changing the date of birth on every single form, I just switch, change it here, save the changes one time, and then just update or refresh the form. Okay, so as long as you have the correct information here in the contact profile, then you're all set. Now, let's say that I want to add a post-it. So if you click on this square, you can create a note. Please confirm date of birth. I can leave these notes for myself, for my team, or the clients. And you can customize the size, the color, the location, you can, or the font. And of course, if you need to print the form, you can print the form normally without those sticky notes. You just uncheck the option. Okay, so these sticky notes help a lot because if the client doesn't review or confirm the date of birth and the forms, you know, maybe it gets rejected or something happens, you have proof that you did ask them to confirm. So you can add your observations on the form or any comments. So these are the sticky notes. You also have this keyboard. It's called Type Anywhere. If you click, you can move the mouse and position text anywhere you want. So this is like an image. You can click, drag, and drop. It's not going to print the lines. It's only going to print the text if you want. Again, when it's time for you to print the form, you decide, do I want to print with or without? Okay. The other thing that you have as part of the forms tools is this. Like you can type freely if it doesn't fit, or well, not necessarily type, but let's say the address is just too long and it doesn't fit. Well, the system is developed to shrink as much as possible the size of the font. It's going to reduce it. And if you exceed the number of characters, it will create the addendum for you. You can also, if you want to edit or change the font manually, click on the A on top, and then you can modify the settings for that current field. Okay. Of course, you want to leave it legible. But like I said, you don't have to do it manually. The system is developed to shrink it automatically for you. Now, when we go to the last page, you're going to see a red button that says Edit Additional Entries. When you click there, you have the option to select which additional entries you want to transfer to the addendum. So let's say I just need those. I click Save at the bottom, and the system auto-populates the page, part, and item number for you, obviously along with the text. It's very common that clients try to overwrite, and that's fine. They can overwrite, but they're not going to be able to delete these. And that's why, because it's from the contact profile, you have to click here, edit additional entries. Okay. So again, remember I said create a contact, enter data. It's actually bringing the information from all these sections. All her previous addresses are here, all her employment, education history, and marriage history. It's coming from the profile. So it's better to just create it one time than having to retype it over and over again. Let me know if you guys have any questions so far. Okay. Um, Another benefit of using our technology, by the way, as a reminder, Cerenade has a unique forms technology. We don't rely on Adobe or any other third-party solution. And so you guys are using the best in the market. So now, if I finish the form and I want to auto-populate all these blank spaces with NA, just click on this icon. It says Form Data Edit, and then replace blank with NA, and then just click replace. So it goes throughout the form, finds any blank spaces, and it auto populates with NA. A lot of people also like to have everything in all caps. That's fine. Now that I am done with the form, I can click on the same icon, change the text case, select all caps, and apply. It's going to override and everything will be all caps, no matter how I typed it. Okay, again, it's optional. So the other thing I want to talk about, I don't think I put that in the agenda, but just really quick to save you so much time, especially for the I-485 and 400, a lot of those questions. So if you want to save time and customize the form so that by the time that you open it, it has all these yes and no questions completed, let me open the I-485. Instead of clicking on every single form, you can have them already by default. And that's done from the administrative portal under, again, form defaults. And if the client has a yes, so let's say if I go to her background questions for the I-485, if she says yes on this one, has the client ever been denied? We will transfer the yes, even if the form default has a no. Okay? All right. So, any questions at this point regarding the forms? Let me know. I'm going to save and close. All right. Let me go back to the agenda to show you. So, now that we have learned how to create the contact, how to link the members, how to create the cases, I'm going to show you what the alternate view is and how you can save time by capturing data via the alternate view. So this is the contact profile. If I click on alternate view, it shows all the intake forms that are available, not just the system intake forms, but also the ones that you create or customize. For example, I can be specific and create one for the asylum process instead of having different intake forms and incremental pages. I can just have one single questionnaire with my logo and questions that I added, and in addition to what's related to asylum. For example, is this the first time that you contact us? What country are you seeking asylum from, etc., and or spouse's information. And you can add your instructions or headers, or like I said, logo, numbers. So you can customize questionnaires. But the alternate view, once you have that questionnaire, the alternate view allows you to access the questionnaire and make modifications. And then I'm going to save it, close it, and now that is already here. right here. So again, if you want to capture the information during the consultation instead of writing it down on a piece of paper, you can just use the alternate view and save time, because after the consultation, you can send the questionnaire and the client will see the information you captured and they can edit or correct it. I'm going to read a couple of questions. It says, okay, so my question is, when I link a family member to a client, it's showing that family member on the list of all clients. Hmm? That's a bug. Do you need to contact our technical support, because that's not the behavior. If you link a client, sorry, if you link a member to a client, it is only going to be listed for that client, not all of the clients. So yeah, you need to contact us for support. How do you show only clients and not members? So that's a good question. The general info page has a client number. What I recommend is that you designate or assign a number just for actual clients, okay? Because there is no way when you search for contacts, this is contacts, not all clients. In fact, the status could be prospect, active, or archived. So if you want, you can also label them, or not label, but separate them by maybe active versus archived. But there is no other filter, I guess, unless you run a report, like I said, and say, or an advanced search, and say only the ones that have a client number, if that makes sense. Client number right here. We have a way for you to run a custom search in case you don't have custom reports. You can also do this. Give me individual clients with general info. Oh, sorry. I think it was client, general info, and then number. And you can do this, not empty, which means give me only clients that have client numbers. Okay? All right. So okay. So I hope that answered your question, but at this point we don't have, again, when you search for contacts, it is going to give you every contact or client that has a stat. Well, again, unless you want to do just prospects or just active clients. Okay. Thank you for your question. So now let's go back to the alternate view. The alternate view allows you to, again, access all the intake forms that you have depending on the situation. For example, I just want to see general information for individual client, and it auto-populates what's already in the system. So you could, if you want, print this and give it to the client to review. Sometimes clients are not tech savvy. You can't expect them to complete this online, but if they are, then of course you want to click create questionnaire, and you can send the questionnaire electronically to them. Okay. If you don't want to send it electronically and you'd rather just print the questionnaires, you can choose this option, print and view. And it gives you all the questionnaires unless you want to sort by process. So just give me the ones that are related to naturalization. So I can open the questionnaire. You can also translate the questions, and then you can click here to print. So that way I can give the client the physical paper with all these fields, and they can bring it back. Once they bring the paper back with all the answers, I can utilize the alternate view and then just type the information for them on behalf of the client. Okay. What if I want to send the client a questionnaire? Well, if you click on create questionnaire and you select send to client, there are two options. You can send it to the client portal, or you can send a passwordless link. It really depends on the type of package you have. You probably don't have SMS, which is text messaging. If you want, you can send an intake form via email, or you can copy the link and paste it into, let's say, WhatsApp. So you can send a questionnaire without requiring a login into the client portal. Usually the process, the most traditional way, is I email the questionnaire, I choose a process, so let's say, again, naturalization, and then I pick the questionnaires. Maybe I'll just pick one. And I can preview if I need to see how this questionnaire looks like. Okay. And then I select. Once you're done, at the bottom, click Save. And if you haven't enabled access to the client, you're not going to be able to do that. It's going to ask you to enter a password and a username for them. And sometimes clients haven't been in the system for a long time, so you kind of have to remind them. In this case, you can resend the credentials. When you send them the username and password, you're going to send this default template, or you can create your templates from the admin. For example, I can send this in Spanish because I created a template called Spanish Credenciales. It auto-populates her name, and I'm saying the same thing but in Spanish, usuario, contraseña. So you could use the letter templates to send the credentials in a different just be more specific instead of just saying, because this is the default one that we have. Hold on. Default. Here are your credentials to log in. And so again, maybe you want to be more specific. I need the questionnaires back by next week, or anyway. So when you send them the credentials and you enable the questionnaires, now clients are going to, let me access as a client here. Now the clients are going to access their own portal with their username and password. They're going to click on their inbox and they're going to see the questionnaire that you sent to them. So they're going to open the questionnaire. They can translate if they prefer, or you can send it by default in a different language. And now they can see the data that you have captured and make any necessary modifications. All right, I'm going to change maybe the phone number. All right, let me see if it lets me. And maybe change the address. All right, so let's say client make modifications to the questionnaire. She sends it back to you, which by the way, when a client sends a questionnaire, you get a notification. If there is another questionnaire or another form, they're going to get this message so they can continue. And also, they don't have access to that questionnaire anymore or that form. So if you need to resend it, go ahead. Or sometimes clients send an incomplete questionnaire and you want to kind of reject it and let them continue working on that questionnaire. Now, I'm switching back to your caseworker portal, and this is where on the top, if you notice, it says four questionnaires and forms. You could also click on the little envelope and you can go here, but this is faster. Here's your inbox for these questionnaires and forms. I'm going to click select open, and I like the fact that the system highlights the areas or fields that have been modified. So if I click there, it tells me in yellow in the top left, what was the original value that I had there before. So I can compare. See the email, it tells me what was there before. So my options are I either accept the changes or reject them. I will accept because I want you to see what happens when you accept the questionnaire. If I take you back to her contact profile, here we see the email address has been modified and the phone number. All right, so as long as you accept the questionnaire, then the information will update. How do you get a receipt of having sent the client the form? Well, there's always a confirmation when you go to the documents. I'm sorry, not a documents, logs. Every time that you email the client, either the credentials, an invoice, anything, there's always a system copy. So that's kind of like what you maybe refer to as a receipt of having sent the client the form or the questionnaire. Some of these I have pinned. I can unpin them, but here's the one. It says on January 6th, I sent the information to so and so. If the client tells me, no, you never did, you can, hold on, email it. So you're going to send a PDF of that proof or receipt. Yeah. And also, good question, because I like this. Look, if you go to the contact and you click documents, there is a section for her own questionnaires and forms that I've sent throughout, you know, this time. So give me 1 second, it's loading. So what it's showing, it's taking longer because it's okay, here we go. I've been using this for almost 10 years. So it tells me what I sent to the client, when I sent it, when they made modifications. So like this one, I sent the I-130 on the 3rd. She changed that on the 5th, and she sent it to me on the 5th, the same day, but I haven't accepted the form. It's in my inbox. Sometimes clients, if you send them a form or a questionnaire like this one since September, she hasn't submitted yet. So what I can do is click select edit and kind of peek and see and preview. Okay, yeah, it's still empty, or oh yes, she made changes that day. And I don't have to wait until the client sends it or submits a form. There is an option here that says select submit on behalf of client and accept. Um, okay, so I can submit on behalf of the client and accept at the same time, which I'm gonna do. And now it's gonna show I sent it on September, and it's accepted or submitted on January 6th. And it's gonna move it all the way up. See, now I can see the dates. So it's also a good kind of proof if you want to take a screenshot or show them like, look, this is what I've sent to you. And another question that's very common is, I send the questionnaires to the client, I need to resend them to them. No, you don't. If you have sent questionnaires, just remind them. Sometimes clients don't know how to log in. So just go to the contact profile, click on client access, and resend the credentials. But as long as they have the username and password with the login, the URL, just like um, they're gonna access the questionnaires. They don't expire. I mean, all right. So let's continue with the next item, which is these custom questionnaires. How do I customize them? You might not have access to the administrator portal, but I want you to know that it's doable and it's available. In the administrator portal, we have a section called Form Custom Form Templates. So here's where you can access the intake forms, either the ones that we provide by default, we call them system intake forms, or the ones that you create from scratch, custom intake forms. What I recommend is that you make a copy of the questionnaires that we already have. For example, asylum, I can click select, copy, and then just use what's already created, but add my own questions. So I'm going to add what's your name, or I want to ask you your marriage history, employment, previous addresses. And out of those sections, for example, I need your father's information, but I don't need everything. I just need the name, last name, date of birth. And I don't need their phone or fax or email. So you can remove um, fields that are not necessary for your client to respond. And once you have the questionnaire, you can map the fields, and you can also add translations. I'm not going to go through or I'm not going to explain to you detail by detail, but I want you to know that this is doable. You should take advantage. If you are the administrator, please explore the admin and kind of play with, the system and the custom intake forms, and contact us if you have any questions. We have a user's guide where you can watch the tutorial video on how to create your own questionnaires. We do have also a live training that we do to show you step by step on how to create these. But I just wanted to mention this to you as a new user so that you understand that there is an option to add your own questionnaires. Okay? And like I said, on my PowerPoint, I also put the links right here. The next area that I want to show you, it's called Client Overview. So each of the client profiles, if you notice, it's in green on the top right. It says Client Overview. I'm going to show you how to customize this section because it's um, a lot easier to simply open it, and at a glance I see exactly what I need to see, not more, not less. So you can also print it if you want. And so the way you can customize it, in the caseworker portal, click on settings, go to user preferences, and it's on the right hand side, client overview. Here's where you can add or remove sections. For example, I don't need the I-94 section, I'm going to remove it. Or I don't need logs, I'm going to remove that. And if I need to add a section, just click on the plus sign, select the section that you need. For example, I care for EADs, so I only select that, or maybe RFEs. So those two are important. I want to see the document type, filing, approval, so you can choose information that's important to you and click apply. And then just save the changes. What I'm doing is I'm customizing that here, that client overview page. See, now it's giving me all the RFEs or any EADs that I have for that particular client. Okay. And if I scroll down, there's of course other sections that I um, selected. Let me condense here because it's too much. All right. So again, this is printable, customizable, and each of the users can go to their preferences and modify their client overview settings. The next area that I want to talk about, it's called process steps, and that's located at the case level. When you create a case and you click on process steps, this is your timeline or workflow. In other words, this is your to-do list. So if you want to customize it by default, again, go to the administrator portal, and by process type, you can have different steps. Your staff, when they create a new case and they click here to modify the steps, all they need to do is enter their start date. In other words, when I'm going to do this and how many days do I have to complete this particular task, and what's my target date or my deadline. So as long as you have the start date and the time frame, we auto populate the deadline or target date. Also, if you notice, we have caseworker columns where you can delegate who's responsible for what step. And that way, if, for example, me, Vanessa, has to begin the green card through family case on the 17th and I don't click complete it, or if I don't enter the end date right here, then the system thinks I haven't done it yet. For example, Benita has to call client for follow-up tomorrow. If she doesn't complete it and this box is checked, Benita's gonna get an email reminder so she can call the client for follow-up. In other words, also, this helps you to kind of, it's like an x-ray of your law firm. Even if you're a solo practitioner, this is going to save you time because then you get the reminders for exactly what's important. And also, if you have a new paralegal, it's kind of like their cheat sheet. They know what they need to do for this particular case, right? And also for your clients, if someone calls and says, "What's the status on my case? What's been done?" "Oh, it looks like we're going to call you tomorrow for follow up." So again, it helps the team to be on the same page. It helps the solo practitioner to be organized. And all of these target dates, they auto-populate the dashboard that we called Tickler. And so I'm going to show you in a moment how the tickler works. But before I get there, please let me know if you guys have any questions. Any questions at this point? All right, I'm waiting for the rest of the participants to vote. Awesome. All right, I'm just going to close. Thank you so much for letting me know. Let's continue. So this is a process step. What if I want the system to perform an action on my behalf automatically, such as, let's say, attorney final review? When it's time for us to complete this step, let me just make sure you can see my screen. Okay, see. I want to add an activity. If you click select activities, you can either add these by default in general or on a case by case basis. And the activities mean you can kind of schedule an action in advance. So I can say what the action is. Unfortunately, these are the only four that you have. You can't customize them. But let's say that I want to send an email. So the system will send the email on my behalf. When do I want this action to be triggered? When we complete the step. So when it's time, or maybe when it's a few days before. So you can choose this, like when do you want this. So maybe 2 days before the step starts, I want the system to remind attorney for final review. And my subject, it's time for final review. My recipient, if I click on the three dots, it's going to show me the answers that are not just the attorneys or caseworkers, but also the clients. So I'm going to choose Kevin and Ray to be the recipients, and then I can CC or BCC anyone, as well as the letter templates. So if you haven't done it yet, please, please customize from your admin your letter templates. It's going to save you so much time. So you can just choose the message instead of typing it. I don't have one for attorney final review. Of course, it is closing letter. Uh, Give me 1 second. It's loading. And so it can auto-populate information on that template. So that, anyways, that way the attorney has every single detail he needs. Let me choose another one. I have kind of like a letter for the final review, or maybe for the client, any notification. Anyway, so you can schedule this email to go out exactly when you need it. Let me close this. And again, like I said, you can customize these activities by default. All right, next is logs. How do I add a note or create a comment? You can either create a note here at the case level or at the contact level. You have both options. And if you create a log, it's going to ask you what type of log or what's the category. And so this is also customizable. Instead of just saying I have a general note, well, this is regarding a grant related note or legal advice, change of address, consultation. You can have your own options here, and especially if you do more than just immigration. So select the note or type the note and then click save and close, or save if you want to continue drafting it. These notes or logs, you can pin them so that they stay on top. I think you can pin up to 10 or 15. I'll check with this. I don't remember honestly how many you can pin, but you can always unpin a note. And if I scroll down, I can also show any notes or logs, any comments that I create at the case level. And so in a way, I'm in the same screen, but I can see contact and case logs at the same time. It tells me the case number, what type of note. This is why it's important. And also, of course, the actual note, who created, when they create, when, if they updated the note. I see the dates. All right, so those are the logs. And lastly, reminders. If I want to add or create a reminder, I can do the same thing at either the contact or the case profile. If you create a reminder, let's say at the case level, it's going to ask me what type of what's the category for this reminder, also customizable from the admin. So let's say we have to check the biometrics appointment. And so I want, this is probably due next Friday, and I want to get an email reminder or text message or both, maybe a few days before. So on Wednesday at 8 a.m., I want Benita and maybe Kevin, who are responsible to do the biometrics appointment check. So they'll get that email or text message reminder at 8 a.m. on Wednesday before the due date. I can CC the client or CC anyone, and then of course the description of the reminder. Once you create a reminder, they auto-populate in the dashboard. So I'll show you right now how to see all reminders across the board. Before I get there, please let me know if you have any questions on how to create a log or how to create a reminder. Okay. I also want to show you, it's not in the agenda, but just really quick because the tickler has it. So expiration dates are also important. If you go to the contact profile and click documents, you can see passports, I-94s, visas, and also we have a section for user-defined documents like RFEs, EADs. So you can also customize this drop-down menu to add more options if you want to keep track of expiration dates. Okay, as long as you enter that. Same thing for the I-94s or passports. As long as you add the information and you check this box where it says current, we will transfer that to the forms. So you can have a client with several passports, but the one that's labeled or marked as current is the one that we will transfer to the forms as their current passport. Now, let's take a look at the tickler. I'm going to click on Tools, Tickler, and you can customize the layout. You can add or remove stuff, but this is the default layout. And you can also customize the time frame or the type of graphs. Uh, yeah, I think you can go to preferences. You're gonna see tickler, and you can change the settings. Here it is, chart type, and also the layout. I want to add or remove stuff. Okay, so the tickler, like I said, is your general dashboard where you can see all those reminders, process steps, expiration dates, not just for you alone, but if you click this box right here on the left, you can show data for all caseworkers. So I can see that in the next 30 days, we all, as a team, have 5 reminders at the case level. Tells me the type of reminder, who's responsible, when is this due, etc. Of course, you can print it. And process steps that I mentioned earlier, you can customize the time frame. And the process steps don't have the responsible party, but you can click on the link and it takes you to the actual case. So let's say it looks like on January 12th, we have to complete forms. So I click on the link. It's going to take me to the actual case, and I can see the process steps. So I can see who's responsible for completing me, completing the forms. All right, so that's the tickler. Let me continue because we're running out of time. I want to make sure that oh, yeah, so I skipped this one. Smart alerts. It's also from the admin if you want to create kind of like global alerts. Let me give you an idea. You have clients that owe you and you're too busy to charge and create an invoice, or not create an invoice, but like remind them. So then we want to remind you. And if you have billing, of course, we want to create a global alert, not just for billing, but it could be for anything like, client, it's an adverse party. Like you can warn your staff. You can add any type of alerts. If it's an advanced alert, maybe you want to say if this client has an adverse party, or again, if it's related to billing, show me an alert when this client has overdue um, invoices, which is kind of like what I have, I think. Let me, okay, I'm going to say warning. When there's an invoice that is overdue, let me know. So let's see what happens. When I open an account that has an overdue invoice, I get this pop-up window that says client alert. This client has 167 overdue invoices. You could add an alert on a case-by-case basis, okay? And the staff cannot delete the ones that came from the admin, but they can edit or delete these ones, okay? So those are the smart alerts. I'm reading questions. Can you explain how e-signatures work when e-filing through? Yeah, of course. Give me 1 second. I don't think that e-signatures work through e-filing though, but let me double check. All right. So lastly, document assembly is how do I put together the package? Now that I have all the forms ready, I've gathered the documents, I have my letter templates, everything. Then you click on document assembly. You're going to click New, enter the name of the package. For USCIS and then save. So now that I have this, I select which forms I want included into this package. I select them and click here to move them into the package. I can click drag and drop the way I want to have the package. And then also, of course, the documents or letter templates, just select, click here to move them, and then you can put the cover letter here or any documentation like the evidence, everything here. You can click here to create the table of contents, and the number of pages will update accordingly. Click save, and then of course just email the package. You can add the footer page numbering and the caption, and then send the email. It's going to be a PDF. So that's the document assembly. And again, I put the link right here so you can watch the video. I know there's a couple of questions that I'm going to get to. Just give me 1 second. For those that have to go, I want you to know that these are the resources and support that you have. You can contact us Monday through Friday, call us on the phone, except on holidays, but you can also email us 24/7, and that's the email address. On your home screen, there's a technical support message that you can click on and send your questions or comments and also your feedback to developers. Here's a link to the user's guide. And we do these trainings for free every Friday, except on holidays, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we have a podcast called Cerenade Snacks. We have a Facebook forum page. I put the link so that you can register or join. And of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called Cerenade Academy. So these are the questions that some of you sent prior. How to manage client onboarding. You can either create the contact profile manually, as I explained earlier, or you can use the anonymous questionnaires as well as case initiation request optional modules. Let me explain really quick. If you click here where it says create questionnaire and you choose the option that says anonymous, you can put a link on your website so that any prospect can click on that link depending on the situation, because it could be for H-1B or DACA or asylum. And that way you don't wait until they contact you or someone's available for uh, right, to create a contact for them. You can just send maybe a bulk email to a bunch of employees or applicants for H-1B season. You can just have them click on the link and they can see your logo, enter their own information, and create their account. So this is if you want to create a lot of profiles at once and by different processes, different areas. Not necessarily a process. It could be one general for new prospects, and then you follow up and then ask what type of service they need. So that's one. The other area for employment-based cases is a feature that we have as an optional module that we recommend if you handle employment-based cases. So the employer or HR manager can click on this icon. It's called Initiate a Case or Case Initiation Request. And instead of emailing you the information for the applicants, they'll just complete this form with the employee's information, the type of case, which is customizable, and they'll send you the details for when you accept this. Not only we create the contact for the employee and link it to the employer, but also trigger the case window. So this is also a must if you handle employment-based cases. Oops. Next question, how to create custom reports. I put the links right here. You need to have admin access, and of course, you need to be subscribed to custom reports optional module. But besides just creating the reports, I always recommend to also schedule them so that you can save time. And for those that don't know, we have this module called custom reports that allows you to create any type of report from the administrator portal. And like I said, you can also schedule the report so that on a daily basis, weekly, monthly basis, you choose a recurrence, And you can also choose the format, the recipients. Even if a person is not using eIMMIGRATION, let's say in my accounting department, I want to send them a PDF or Excel spreadsheet of all the payments that we got this week. So you can choose a report and then the recipients, and they'll get this Excel spreadsheet on a weekly basis automatically. I love this feature. If you're not subscribed, if you want a demo, contact our sales team so that we can show you how to use it and maybe you want to upgrade your plan. Next question, how to properly enter notes in a case. So we covered this, but really quick, it's either at the case or the client contact or the contact profile, and just click on logs. How to change case worker assigned. Just go to the case. Let me show you. Click on case workers and unlink the person that you want to remove from the case, and then just link the new one. So I'm just gonna say, I don't know if I wonder we have, here we go, and link. And that's it. Next question was how to add derivative forms to existing applicant case. This is a great question. Let me go back to so I can show you. And again, please download my PowerPoint presentation if you have to disconnect now. I know we're running out of time. You can click um, on the links or contact us for support later. But this was a great question because what if you didn't know there is a derivative? And so you can, first of all, click on the clients or the contact profile and make sure that you link that person as a member, son, daughter, whatever the relationship is. Once you have that here, and of course you want to enter their data into their corresponding profile, go back to the case and click on case parties. You're going to link them. What was the name of the son? Let's say Anthony. Okay, so I go to link case party, search for him, because he's already there, Anthony. I select, and the relationship will be derivative, and I link him. So now that I have Andrew here, I go to the forms. Let's say I need another G28 for him. So you can click here, select copy. It's going to duplicate the G28 that I worked on. So I don't have to redo the whole thing again. So I go inside the form. Everything is going to be there because it's a copy, of course. But then when you get to the section where you see the alien, click select so that you can replace with the derivative. So click here to select another party. In other words, I'm going to replace Jorge with Andrew. And I just need to click on his name. It's going to transfer Andrew's information to that section of the form. And I'm just going to say beneficiary derivative. Trust me, that's going to save you so much time. If you make copies of forms that are basically the same, like 5 children, and then just label them. Here where it says description edit, you can put Andrews. And now I know that this is Andrews and this is Jorge's. And I'll just do one more for the petitioner later. Okay. Thank you for the question. I think that was more like an advanced course, but it helps, especially if you're going to start using the system, learn all those tricks. All right, so this is training that we finished today. Next week, we're doing Learn What's New and Use eIMMIGRATION to its full potential. That's more for existing clients. And then we have a client portal related features. And lastly, we're doing an admin portal on the 27th. For those who have to disconnect, thank you so much for attending this webinar. I'm going to stay for a couple more minutes to answer your questions regarding the basic steps. And I know someone asked me about signatures for e-filing. All right, so let's see. Actually, I just want to know how e-filing handles client prepared signatures. Okay, so when you e-file a form, see like the G28, we're going to transfer what's in the form. If you go to the caseworker, anything that has the check mark, it's going to be transferring to the forms. So let me go back to any other form for the prepare. And we can also e-file USCIS forms. Okay, See, I'm gonna overwrite. I had populated the blank fields with NA, so let me restore the information for the interpreter. Basically just canceling the overwrite. So as long as you have the interpreter's information, or if you want to transfer the attorney, it's up to you. But you can also select here, because what if it's not an attorney? What if it's a client's family member that you want to transfer? And you can also do that. But yeah, we're going to transfer what's in this form in eIMMIGRATION. When you schedule the form for e-filing, then it's going to transfer that information to the USCIS website or the Department of State or Department of Labor. Um, if you click on the user's guide, I recommend that you search for e-filing if this is the first time that you use it, or maybe you don't have e-filing, I don't know. But here we have how to schedule the form, how to install the component. We have a video. We also have step-by-step instructions with screenshots, and that shows you how the e-filing module works. Okay, thank you for the question. How to link cases and check visa priority dates. Okay, how to link cases? Well, I think you are referring to when you create the case to the client, maybe? Or what do you mean, how to link cases? But when you create a contact, if you have the contact ready and you click here, create case, that's how you link slash create. Maybe you're referring to how to link to an existing client. So what I did with the derivative, I went to this case and I added Andrew. So now if I go to Andrew's profile, that case is going to be linked to his profile. So let me show you. If I go to members and I click on his name, when I go to cases, because he's now part of the case, it's going to be listed here, all right, as a derivative. So that's how you link. Now, the other part of your question was check visa priority dates. You have, if you go to the case profile, you have a section for documents. Click on immigrant visas, and you also have notices. We recommend that you subscribe to Times Tracker so that you can get the notification when the petition becomes current or it's eligible for processing. You can also click on the link once you enter the receipt, and of course, it's going to take you to the USCIS website. Um, Next question is, what can we do when you get approaching data limits message? Oh, yeah, so that means that you're reaching the storage limit. I suggest that you upgrade. I mean, we have Plan C with unlimited storage. But yeah, so if you go to your subscription details, it should tell you right here, license storage. I suggest Plan C. You don't have to worry about the storage. It's unlimited, and it's actually just $15 more. Or you can also buy an extra gigabyte, and we charge only $4 per gigabyte per month. So whatever you prefer, just contact us, and we can assist you with adding more space to your database. Can I add my own template letter in Word? Yes, if you go to the admin, we also have the document repository where you can upload your templates, and you can also utilize these when you put together the package. Uh, to my client's case, I'm sorry, can you reword your question because I'm kind of lost? To my client's case, can I add my own template in Word to my client's case? Well, yeah, if you have it in the admin, or you can also do it on a case by case basis if that's what you meant. You go to the contact or case, click documents, and then you can add it here. For example, I think I have a Word document that I can utilize. Just give me 1 second. I need to pause my screen for confidentiality reasons. Let me search for a document that I can utilize as a test. Um, Word, yeah, okay, I have it here. Open. I'm just gonna call it test. All right, I am uploading a Word document, and if you have Office 365, you can actually open that file online and edit the file. You can either do this, like I said, on a case-by-case basis, or if you want to use the same template and you let the team kind of add it to the case, then of course, add it to the document repository from the admin. See, but I can make corrections to the document. Let me close this. Um, Let me see if there's any other questions. Now, for those who wanted to cover really quick the recap for the steps, the basic steps, I said the first thing you need to do is click on the plus sign on the left where it says create clients or contacts. Enter the information here and create the contact. And once you have that contact, obviously try to enter as much information as possible. The second step is to click members, click on members and link the family members, children, parents, spouse, anyone. And once you link the members, then you want to create the case. When you create the case, it's going to take you through the case wizard, and that's where you get to the forms after you create the case. All right. So I hope that helps. Like I said, we let me go back. We have all these support um, resources for you guys. So if you have questions, you can either give us a call, email us. You can send your message through the home screen as well, through the technical support option. We have the user's guide, but please contact us if you have any questions, okay? All right, well, thank you so much, everyone, for attending this live webinar. I hope you learned something new, and thank you for choosing eIMMIGRATION and Cerenade. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Don't forget to download the PowerPoint presentation. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Take care. I'm glad you enjoy it. Yay. That makes my day. I'm glad it was helpful. Take care. Yeah, so the video, oh, where do okay, so the handouts, if you click on go to webinar, you can click on handouts and it's right there so that you can download the PowerPoint. If you can't download it, just email us so we can send it to you. And then the video is, okay, if you go to youtube.com and you can search for Cerenade Academy, please subscribe and you can see here all the videos that every Friday. If you can't attend the trainings, you can at least watch the videos. And when we have an enhancement or a new feature, you can find the videos here as well. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you can activate the notifications as well. Were you able to download the PowerPoint presentation? Please let me know. And finally, for those that have not yet disconnected, oh, perfect. You're welcome. Were your questions addressed during the webinar? If not, please contact our technical support team. I know there was a question about linking a member that was showing on all clients. That's not normal, so please contact our technical support team for that. All right. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. And again, on behalf of Cerenade, thank you for choosing eIMMIGRATION and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.